here we go. We got a Black Widow review. The famous Black Widows bows. The best. I think they're pretty good. They're definitely my favourite. So this is basically a bit of a 1 year review. I've got it in March last year. So really it's just under a year that I've had it. I've been wanting a Black Widow forever. I haven't really been doing archery for that long really, but I've always seen them on pictures and all that, and always thought, man, that is one cool looking bow. And it's funny, everywhere you see on the internet and everything, it's pretty rare that you ever see anything bad about them. Some people don't like the way that they shoot, but in general, everyone who's ever owned a Black Widow reckons they're top notch. So that was on the top of my list to eventually own a Black Widow. Anyway, so I'm denied for quite a while, and I didn't even get on the website, which is pretty funny, just like we all sort of do. I'd get on the website, and it's funny, their website's ridiculously easy to order a bow and just get a bit of an idea of what you want. They've got lots of videos out and everything, explain different things. And so you sort of just going through the list and, picking all your things and all that. I was obviously on the Black Widow fans page on Facebook, which is probably like the coolest page there is on Facebook. Crazy bunch of good blokes on there, and it's just a no rubbish good Facebook page. Actually, it's pretty good. But anyway, so everyone loves them. So eventually I was at a shoot one day, and one of the old fellas there, he had a Widow, and I was like, oh, how long you had it for and all this. And he had this thing for about 20 years, and I was like, would you buy another one and this and that? And he's like, yeah, of course. He's like, if anything happened to this one, he's like, the next day I'd be straight on and I'd be buying another one. So I think that was finally the straw that broke the camel's back. And so that night I went home and finally bit the bullet and paid for it. And so the exchange rate actually wasn't too bad at that time. It still sucks a lot. I'm obviously in Australia, and the exchange rate's usually around that 70 cents. So this bow, being a custom and all that, and the shipping and everything, it ended up coming into, I believe, I'm just trying to remember, I think it's just over $2,000, $2,100 I think it was, something like that, Australian. So it's a lot of money. But in saying that too, the really high-end custom bows, even in Australia, which really there's only a handful, or really just a couple really, that I'd ever sort of pay decent money for, they're around that sort of price anyway, a little bit less. But yeah, basically those sorts of figures. The reason I've always wanted a Widow is I've never heard anyone say anything bad about the company, which to me is massive. So you're talking, this company's been around since, I think it was the 1950s, and they've only ever had a ridiculously good reputation, which says a lot about the people that have ran the company, which has been a few. And the people that still do, obviously. And, that's one of the biggest things to me is, if companies are good, it makes life a lot easier, that's for sure, if you ever have a problem and everything. And from what I ever see is, people have broken limbs and stuff like that, and then they're like, oh, I can't get to a certain hunt or whatever. And for one, there's always probably a Widow fella that'll help you out and send you his limbs if you're going on some epic lifetime hunt or something like that. So that just shows you what the community's like. But then also the company itself, they'll do everything they can to get you back out there. And, if you're trying to do some crazy epic lifetime hunt or something like that, they'll be sorting you out as fast as they can, that's for sure. The other cool thing is Widow even so if you've dinged your bow up pretty bad and all that, they'll even just redo it. Which from memory is around the $200, $250 or something like that. And you send your bow in and everyone says it just comes back and it's fucking brand new, which is pretty cool. You could also get because Black Widow actually, they're all serial numbered and they always have been forever for the entire life of the company. So you can actually ring them up. So say you've bought, a second-hand bow and say it was 50 pound, maybe a little bit too heavy for you. You can ring them up and just go, what can we do about it? And they'll say, yeah, we reckon, because they've got all their glass numbers and how thick they've taken off things and everything all logged. So they can literally just go, yeah, we can probably take about 4 pound off that. So you can send it in, get it reshaven down, whole bow refinished, get it sent back. So you basically got yourself a brand new bow, which is pretty cool. And there's a reason why they just hold their value too. So like Black Widows, really even on like second hand, they're basically $1,000 US, give or take a bit. So they hold their value, and there's a reason they hold their value, because they last basically forever. Nothing really goes wrong with them. They're built ridiculously solid, which is also what I like. They've got the forward, well, this particular model has the forward handle, which makes it really stable and awesome to shoot. They're nice and heavy, which is obviously, some people like that, some people don't. The other cool thing is, so when you're looking through, Black Widow actually tell you, basically like, if you've got a 27-inch draw like I do, they recommend, with this type of riser, what type of limb length and stuff like that. So I think you should just follow what they say. They've been doing it for a long time. So I've got a 27-inch draw, so I opted for a PSA with 58-inch limbs. As far as I'm concerned, freaking shoots lights out. It's ridiculously good. Well, how's this? So, and this isn't even talking bullshit. I got the bow, put it all together. The very first day I got it, put it all together, was just stoked. The thing was just, it's just absolutely amazing. It's just a beautiful bow. And strung it up, grabbed a bow, like an arrow straight off the shelf, walked out here, 20-meter shot, bam, straight into the kisser, right in the spot on one of my 3D targets. And I was like, well, there you go. It shoots pretty good. And I was just like, wow, that was awesome. So it's definitely cool. They shoot awesome. They come really well packaged. That's what I was definitely most worried about, because this thing, it went all over the world. I'm telling you now, it was ridiculous. Like, shipping these days, it's just crazy when you've got like that much money invested in something and you're so excited about it, you've been waiting so long for it, to have it then just cruising all over the world. You're like, oh, just get to me, bloody hell. So anyway, it finally got to me and everything, and it was all awesome. Everything was perfect, it was all fine, nothing was wrong with it, so it was all good. So it comes really well packaged. Comes with a DVD, which is it's just showing you what to do, how to put your bow together properly, just everything. You can't ask much more than that, eh? Like, it's pretty. They've got everything sussed out pretty good. There's a reason why they're basically the best bows in the world. They come with a high quality string. I put my own strings and stuff on, but they actually come with like a D97 string and everything. They tell you all the brace heights to play with and everything. They come with cool little silencers and stuff like that. So anyway, so I ordered a PSAX. So the X is just for like custom. So I got a Chechen riser. There's Chechen with the no red stripe through it. So still got just the layers, Chechen wood, and then I got spalted maple limbs with just the normal. Because you can actually get, see this black part here. You can get that in whatever type of timber you want as well. You can get overlays. You can buy all different types of bolts, all sorts of different things you can get. Now you get people, which is hilarious, people that tell you that like Black Widows aren't custom because they're made by a machine. As far as I'm concerned, like nearly every single bow, if they have a bow that they make, they might finish it by hand or whatever. Everyone runs jigs, everyone cuts their bows out, everything. That's what makes a bow your bow. Everything still gets finished by hand as such, but the reason why they do the whole machinery thing is then they get perfect limb fitment, and the limbs are exactly, they're just exact. So I can own this bow for the next 20 years, and say this ends up being too much poundage for me. All I do is make a phone call, or just go on the website, dial it up and go, yep, bam, I want a new set of limbs. They get sent to me and they just bolt straight up. Everything lines up perfectly. So why wouldn't you want that? Doesn't really make sense to me. So, and as far as being custom goes, I don't really know how much more custom you can get. You literally pick what wood you want, what strips, you can put different tip things on there, all your different limb bolts and everything, any different type of riser material, all these layers. You can have different colors. You can have different types of timber in there instead of having the phenolic. You can have a full G10 riser. You can have whatever you want, at any length you want. Different riser lengths. There's, don't quote, I think there's like 6 or 7 different grip styles that you can just like order as such. But then you can actually just get them to make whatever grip you want. So you can literally just ask them to make a grip a certain style for you, and they'll make that. Even the riser, they've got like this normal cutout, but they've actually gone their steps in even further, so you can put in like a springy rest and things like that. It's like a bigger rest. So really, you get different quiver mounts. You can get the mounts in the front, so you can put your fishing reels and everything on there. Literally whatever you want. So I don't really know how much more custom a bow can be, to be perfectly honest. I reckon I can almost guarantee you could send them your own piece of wood even and go, I want my limbs made out of this. And I bet you they'd do it for you. It might cost you a bit more, but I reckon they'd do it. As far as custom goes, they're pretty custom. So I got, Chechen riser, PSAX, spalted maple limbs. Let's show the spalted maple. I mean, these things are just so cool. Look at that thing. And you get whatever written on there you want. You can get overlays. You can get just anything you want. There's all the riser. Just absolutely beautiful. I don't know about you guys, but traditional archery is also about looks for me. People are like, oh, looks don't matter. Well, they do to me. I like my stuff to look good. Why not? You're paying a lot of money for something. Why not get something cool looking? It's awesome when you're sitting there in the bush. You can just stare at your own bow. It's pretty good. Now they even do carbon limbs and everything now. So the list is endless. There's a reason why they cost a bit more, because they've got the reputation, I suppose, and they make a fantastic product. You know it's going to last. If anything happens to it, it gets replaced, it gets fixed. You know what I mean? You can't ask for more of a better company really, as far as bows go. And so with this bow, I started getting into hunting and everything. So this bow was actually the one I popped my cherry on, as such. So I killed my very first pig with it. I only owned the bow for a few months or whatever it was. So I killed my first pig, got my second pig, and then just recently I got a goat with it. So I know that my arrow combinations and 55 pounds at 27 inches works good. And so I just recently did a chrono test. So this is 55 pound at 27 inches, so that's my draw length. And with a 9 grain per pound arrow, I'm getting 175 feet per second. At 10 grains, I'm getting 165, and at 11, 155, roughly. So it's basically on par with a few other bows that I've ever shot, really. As far as widows being, loud, which a lot of people sort of bang on about, it's like they seem loud or something. I don't really understand what it is, but it was like I was struggling to get this thing quiet, where in reality it was actually shooting very quiet. I don't know if it's just that it vibrates a little bit more or something or whatever it is. I don't really know how it works or whatever, because the thing shoots dead, like feeling. So I don't really know, but when someone else shoots my bow, you can't even hear it. So it's quiet. It's as quiet as any other bow I've ever heard. So as far as widows being loud, it's not even remotely true. It shoots quiet as a mouse. It's just hard because not many people, like a lot of other dudes I shoot with and everything, there's not that many that pull heavier poundage, because this is only 55 pounds, so it's not really that heavy. But a lot of them don't shoot anywhere near that. They shoot the 45 sort of pound or whatever. A lot of the fellas at the club. So for me to get other people to shoot it doesn't really happen that often, because when they do, it's always super quiet. So they're definitely not a loud bow. What else can I tell you about it? Don't really know. Yeah, for me this is a 58-inch bow, so it uses a 54-inch string when I make a string. So 4 inches less. I keep the brace quite high, around the 8 3/4. You can take it out to 9 inches if you want. What else? Now, with the biggest thing with a widow is these shelves are cut in quite a ways. I could do a bit of an arrow tuner video one day or whatever, but this shelf on these, they're cut a fair bit past center. So you have to be careful. So like when I very first started shooting this bow, it was doing my head in. And it's just because this is cut that further in. So when you use like a micro shaft, your .166 shafts, you have to build this plate out, otherwise the tip's on the other side of the bloody string. So I was shooting 300 spine shafts and they're still throwing weak. But really it's because they're kicking. But they were it's because the tip was on the other side of the bloody string. So 204 diameters. It's like your Eastern Axis and stuff like that, which are some of my favourite shafts, the Axis arrows. They're awesome. They are very close to center. If anything, you can build the plate out just a smidge if you wanted to. But then like a normal shaft, your normal, what do they call it? 244, 245 sort of thing. So your normal, you know, like these gold tip traditionals and stuff like that. These shoot perfect. The tip's just out a little bit and they shoot lights out. And then even shooting aluminium. So I shoot 2117s as well. They shoot awesome out of this bow as well. Because they're just that little bit fatter, they kick out a little bit more. I always just run Velcro, and then normally I do also have rubber on my grip. But just recently I took it off because I'm replacing it. So I've just been having to go with shooting it. And then it was funny the other day, it was pissing down rain, and I was like, oh, I'll see what it's like, you know, because I was out sort of shooting sort of thing, and it was absolutely bucketing down. And yeah, as soon as I pissing down rain, I'm like, yep, wish I had that rubber grip on right now. There's a reason why I normally have one, because it's just a lot better. So yeah, I'll be putting that back on today, I reckon. And what else? Yes, that's pretty much it, I suppose. Black Widow bows, pretty hard to go wrong with them, really. There's a reason why they cost a bit, because as far as I'm concerned, they're basically the best. And I mean, you can't go wrong. You really can't. They're such a nice bow. Shoot awesome. Shoot lights out. They're freaking good bows. So anyway, have fun. So if you're on the fence about getting one, just get one. Or even if you are on the fence, just buy a second-hand one. You buy a second-hand one for the $800 to $1,000 or whatever US. Shoot it for a bit. If you love it, you love it. And if you don't, you don't. Oh, the other good thing about the Black Widow bows is, well, I should have said this, is they've got a try program. Fair enough, not in Australia. It'd be awesome if they did. I reckon they'd get a lot of customers in Australia. I reckon they'd get a lot of customers in Australia. So maybe Black Widow should send me a few risers and a couple of bows, and then I can send them around Australia for them. But yeah, in the US, you guys just pay shipping and you just can try one out. I mean, that's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. Like, how can you ever say, oh, I don't know, when you can just do that? You can literally make a phone call and they send you one out, and you can use it for a bit, use it for a week or whatever, and send it back and be like, yep, that was an awesome bow. Yes, I'm going to order one. Or, you know what, it wasn't that good. It only cost me $100 to try it out. Done. It's not that bad, is it? Not when you're about to go spend a couple of grand on a custom bow. So, well, anyway, so there you go. So, and this has got a Selway quiver on it, which isn't too bad. Well, it's a good quiver and everything. They are pretty chunky. I don't normally just make my own quivers, but anyway, it's here nor there. Anyway, have a good afternoon, and we'll I'm gonna go chuck a grip on. I might even film that actually. Yeah, that's about it. Sorry for all the chicken noises. Cheers.